Okay, Dwayne, we know that the is not a stagnant pool, it's not a fossil, it's not calcified, it's not stuck in time and space. And we can see this in your writing. It seems to be evolving at every stage. Uh, the creation of new words and new forms of expressions. Do you, what do you say about this? Because you have given a whole new idea of what poetic license really means. You see, and you have seized on it and you've made it a permanent feature of the new presentation. And so, do you see? Do you place your writing in the context of the is? How it's not stagnant and it keeps evolving. The addition of maybe changes in spellings and all the like. Do you see this? I because I appreciate this from the point of view of a literary person. That is my field. So I can appreciate some things that maybe others may ignore. So what do you say about this?
First off, hello, Miss Wendy. You have to mute, young lady. Thank you. Um, yes, there is always going to be a new view with the is. It's always new. See, again, as you really study these ideas, first they're an idea in the literal sense, but as you study these ideas, you start to see things, okay? Impressions start to come to you. So you go through the steps of a gradual recognition of what this really means. And that is the best part, that it's available now. You know, you look back years and hundreds of years ago and thousands of years ago, you know, these created ideas did not exist. And so people were considering the ideas that did exist. So what I'm presenting out there constantly are ideas in a particular way that people can take the time to consider. But you don't want to take too long. In other words, yes, but at the same time, you want to do something. So it's like, you know, surviving here. And you know that you're looking through the paper for a job, as an example. Well, you don't want to take too long to consider that because the rent is due soon. So you better hurry up and get the job so you get some money to pay the rent. Again, these are the mechanics of what we're dealing with right now. And there's many ways to do that. You can also make deals, or you can sell your shoes or your car to the landlord. I mean, there's many ways to do it, but for the most part, people are going to look for a job, get money, and pay the rent, etc. So, again, you don't want to linger too long in the consideration of things, but get going with things because your life is moving on, and you only have so much time with your life. And actually, for the most part, you don't know how much time you have with your life. You may think, oh, I got 60, 70, 80 years. Hey, but you can walk outside and get hit by the bus, and voila, life is done. And that's very real. This is a dangerous place. So with what you're asking and etc. Yeah, it's like all that we've gone over so far, Charles. And so, but you know these things already. You really do. It's just simply, expressing them in your own way. I see everybody here, and many people that aren't here. And when Sam translated the books, or anybody, I tell people, look, you get the basic idea, but you do it according to how things are seen there, because those are the people that are going to be reading it there. It's not going to be from the United States and how I see it. This is one way. And so to see the is in so many different ways, which is really cool, but to really understand how it is always new. And so during Paul's time, that's what it was. That's how it expressed itself accordingly. And the isness itself, because it's about survival, it is always becoming more aware. This is the endlessness that it is. And you might say, to step inside of it and to see how it sees. All right? Decide to do that, and you can. And it will show you how it sees. See? And so then all of a sudden you get a different view. And then try and, translate that into a literal sense, into the personal self. So that is the challenge. And not, like most people do, simply decide what life is. That's a very limited, naive viewpoint. Yes. And again, it becomes arrogance. It grows into arrogance because then the person becomes the know-it-all and the authority. Well, I'm not that. I'm not that at all. Again, my stuff is references. It's not the great knowledge of the ages. I'm just simply referencing what already is. And so, yes, as you understand how this reality is, it's so cool. And so, like the sun shining, it does not change. You see? But as you can even get this off of looking at the sun. You can see this relationship that is real. And I can't explain it, but you must decide to see it. And those that really do, they start to demonstrate it. It's a demonstration. Yeah. And just like Rebazar says, love is demonstrated. Yeah, you can say you love somebody. That's easy. That's the easy part. But to demonstrate it, yes. To, raise the children and to feed the family and whatever, to do that, not everybody will do that. Well, it's not their time to step up. But for those that do, well, they have the advantage to eventually come into a real position of being self-sufficient. So it's nothing you have to chase. And this is where I decided the idea of UP, universal positioning. It's nothing you have to chase. You don't have to travel there. You don't have to go somewhere. Yeah, you will travel. You will go. You will leave your body at times and have all these experiences. But until you recognize in this very nowness what life is, well, all that travel, what does all that equal? I had this experience. I went here and whatever, and that's fine. And Darwin and Harold had a lot of experiences, and even some in the real universes. But the thing is, they never recognized it. You see, that's what they lack, and they demonstrated that lack of recognition by the very fact of what they're doing. You see, that becomes the difference. And so I'm demonstrating the fact of the recognition because I'm the only one that recognized it and brought it forward. I'm demonstrating that, and it makes sense. And you and others, you are the witnesses. Just like in a trial, you're very important. Yeah. And so the lawyers try to eliminate the witnesses because they know how important they are. So they badger the witnesses even more. And this is where, as people step up to this, they have to go through a lot. And they have to deal with a lot at times because, again, the world does not want them to get away, you see. So yeah, it's to be a witness, to first step up and be a witness and eventually stand real, what the all is, that's a huge journey. But we all must go through that, like the chicken breaking through the egg. Must do it by himself. But all these questions that you've asked are, again, see, I've brought them around to where it all makes sense because everything does. And it all points to the is, and it's the individual doing it themselves. And they will be glad. I don't look for miracles. I do look for agreement because if I decide a business deal, I do look for that agreement because I can't do everything. I'm not going to be out there building the vessel physically. I can't do that. I need help. I need agreement. So I make the deals to see if people will step up, utilize their free will, and be a part of it. Otherwise, I just do what I do. But I don't look for the miracles. That's a miracle. But I do the best I can in creation to create a miracle. But certain things need agreement. But I have created the miracle here, and that is, you might say, with what I've presented, what I say and what I've presented, I've provided something to where it allows people to wake up and they can decide for themselves what they want to see or how their life is to be. So I've done that part. But I want to do more. I always feel I don't do enough. And so that's why I've created the projects too, to take that on, to figure those out. And I've gotten agreement from those that are here to actually move forward with that, because for everyone, this becomes the big adventure. So yeah, we're all on it together, Charles. And to recognize this, to stand real with this, is so cool. Yeah, to face it all. Yeah, at that point when you're ready to face it all and do whatever it takes to get it done. Yeah, that's why we came here. And remember why you came here. You came here to wake up all the way. And so to stand real, not to just come here and it's like, oh, I'm looking for freedom. I want to be free. No, that's not why you came here. You came here to recognize this true reality and to stand real with it. And how do you do that? So in the meantime, we do all these funny things in creation. Okay? Yes, thank you so much for listening. Go ahead. And while you're talking on mute there, I suggest that you can take these recordings and define them. And the words are here, and to kind of work it in your own way to your area of life. This is where I like to see what others do. All the people here, they've done something, they've stepped up, they've been creative in some way, and it's terrific. I'm not going to tell people what to do. I gave them the reference, and Paul was the same. He gave the basic idea, and I went out there in the public, and I did it. I did it in my own way. Even the corporation didn't agree with how I did it. I didn't care what the corporation said, when Harry and Joni took over. It's kind of funny. Darwin in his day didn't really care, but when Joni and Harold came in, Joni was more concerned. So she implemented that to her little initiates too. But I didn't listen. I was a rebel. I had done it for a long time. I'll do it my own way, and I'll figure it out. I'll deal with it, and I did. And so it led up to this. It led up to a lot. So we all have this challenge, and it's so cool. This is a privilege. It is a privilege. So however you do it, I would say take this and the other recordings we've done and the experiences. You've got a lot to do there and a lot to write and implement. I've said it. And take it and write it in your own way to what you understand in others, and take on the challenge of what you're doing. And I will say this. I would suggest using the new terminology. In other words, the old terminology is classes, okay? And you can see that it is a class asses, okay? So again, we did that. I did the classes too. This is groups. We're new groups. And you look at the word group, it's grow up. And I like the word group. So it's new groups. We don't use the idea of classes because that's what the corporation uses, okay? Those are the little asses that have classes. Okay, whatever, Joni robots. And that's not a criticism, but again, a spade is a spade, and if people want to stay duh, well, that's their choice. And with the evidence all around them, everywhere, inside, whatever, they're not seeing it, well, you know what? Sometimes they got to be spanked down their rear, don't they? It's like, wake up, or you're dust, you're toast again. So we are groups. We are the new groups. We grow up. We've grown up. So anyhow, and again, you're the witness, and these people that are stepping up, they're witnesses too. They become the witnesses. This is very important. And so this is the fun. Again, make it an adventure. It's fun. And the challenges, like James Bond, why does James Bond do what he does? It's a dangerous thing. He could get any 9-to-5 job because he loves the adventure too. He loves the risk, because with that, he becomes more self-sufficient, where he can just walk out on the street and he can handle anything. But most people are subject to and the effect of everything, and they break down and they can't figure out their lives in any which way. But he can. And he just walks through it all. Yeah, I would say that's a better decision. Go ahead, Charles.
Okay, Duane, thank you. I think I've come to the end of anything I want to share. So thank you for the many explanations, and I think we can call it a day here.
Well, see, you always do bring things, don't you? Even when you may think you don't. Yeah. And so you do have so much. So, no, you're very appreciated. Really, it is. Because, see, you activate that. See, by your very presence and what you decide, you have activated all this, Charles. And look at what has taken place in the last 2.5 hours here. It's huge. You know, it could save the world if people could recognize it. Really could. Everybody could save themselves with it. But that's a decision they must make. Yeah, it's a biggie. Making those hard decisions, being real and wonderful, that's a toughie. So anyhow, you're wonderful too. Thank you so much for stepping up. Say hello to Miriam. We'll see her when she comes on again, but I'm working very diligently and focused on the big funding. It's very real, and the boys are always backing me, but again, I need agreement. And so, okay, Ava, let's do the new you.
No, yo, 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 yo. Kelsey? Chris? Vesna? Ibiok?
No, yo, yo.
Claudia? Val? Laila? Gordana? Joseph? Charles?
No, you, no, you, no, you.
Duane?
New you. Thank you, Charles. Yes. I'm going to wake you up every week, Charles. Get ready.
Thank you.
Yes. We know you love us. So again, that's why we bug you, Charles. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Love you too.
We're all doing it together here, so yes, we're having the most fun. Yes, thank you so much. Thank you, Evoke, for stepping up, you and King and the others. Hey, have fun out there. Just do it. The boys are with you. It's not easy, but just do it. Let's see what happens. So until next time, thank you, everybody. We'll see you soon. Thank you.